So I wanted to talk about something today, and that is the power of synchronicity to guide people along on their path or their life journey. So synchronicity has been a really big part of my own spiritual life. I remember the first one that I ever experienced was I was really depressed in high school. It's something that I've struggled with pretty much all my life since I was a small child, is these bouts of just unbelievable depression. And I was walking home from Tim Hortons and got in bed with my soup and my bagel, and I was watching the movie Fantastic Planet. Um, and I'm watching this movie, and it's really trippy. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It's very, very cool. And all of a sudden, a bright orange flame engulfed my mind from the inside of my mind. Kind of like the fire, the furnace, I feel like, that started the universe, or the spark of creation. And in that moment, I was told that there was a divine plan for humanity and that we were all being guided towards its fulfillment. I'd never encountered any sort of spiritual dimension before in my life, and I was reading a book at the time called Cosmic Consciousness, and the next day, turned to page, I think it was 23, and in the book it describes pretty much the exact same thing. You have a bright orange or pink flame go off in your mind. You feel like your capacity for learning has up-leveled, and you feel like there's some sort of guiding force or divine plan. So this is something that was experienced by Walt Whitman and a bunch of these different people. So it's like a documented thing. After that, the second intense synchronicity I had was I was living in BC with my aunt, and I was living in a grow-op with this dude named Antoine. And Antoine and I were we had just met like 2 months before, and he didn't really have a place to stay, so he ended up staying with me and my family, and then things just like went too fast, I feel like, for us, and we were actually just friends in the deeper sense of what our relationship was. And so we were living in this grow-up, and I was like, no, you know what, I can't do this. I can't be in BC. I can't be here with you. And I had just seen a video online about Lemuria and New Earth and fifth dimensions and like the new world paradigm, and I was really inspired to go to Kauai because that's where the woman was giving the talk. So I booked my flight, and 3 days later I hitchhiked across the border of Washington into Spokane so that I could get to Hawaii, because I felt like there was something that I had to learn there. I get to Hawaii, and the third day that I'm there, I decide that I'm going to go downtown from the farm that I'm staying at, because there's something that I need to experience downtown. So I go downtown, and I see this old Indian gentleman sitting on the side of the road at a cafe with a group of people, and he waves at me. And I was like, oh fuck, that's the sign that I was looking for. So I go over, introduce myself. I was calling myself Eden at that time, so I was like, hi, I'm Eden. And just resonated with them immediately. And then they told me, they were like, okay, we're actually doing a drum circle kind of sacred chant at this house that we're staying at tonight. Would you want to be a part of it and go? And I was like, yes, absolutely, sign me up, sounds great. So we go, and we're driving up, and I'm like, wow, this house looks really familiar. I feel like I've seen this before. We drive up to the house. It's the woman's house from the video that inspired me to go to Hawaii in the first place. They let me stay there for 3 days, took me to Hindu temples, took me to satsang, fed me, gave me books. It was crazy, because it was the woman's house that inspired me to even go to Hawaii in the first place. Another really, really fucked up one that happened to me recently was I went to go see the movie Logan, and I've always had these, intuitions about Eden, the Garden of Eden. I feel like I've been there in an astral realm before, and, I've, gotten signs from it for so long now in my life. This one was crazy though, because my friend from high school, Amy Mattis, told me to go see it because they're about mutant children being led back to Eden in Canada. And I go and I'm watching the movie, and I had to leave the theater for a quick second because the main fucking character in the movie, guiding her fucking friends back to Eden in Canada, looks exactly like Amy, who inspired me to go, or inspired me to go to the movie in the first place. I was like, this is too personal to my existence. The reason that I have Slim Shady or Slim 80 tattooed on the back of my neck is because in high school we used to always smoke out of my my bong called Marge the Blue Bong, and we would listen to Eminem and drive around and go to the cemetery really stoned listening to Eminem, and he was like our favorite artist. So I have Slim 80 tattooed because of her. And I'm like, okay, this is fucked. Is it just me trying to put two and two together? What's going on? So I sent a picture of the girl to a couple of our mutual friends and was like, okay, so is this Amy or what? And everyone was like, I went to school with Amy Mattis as a child and can 100% confirm that that is a young Amy Mattis. So something I feel like is going on here, and we have to pay attention to these synchronicities and signs and not just write them off. Obviously not be too overly obsessed with what they mean, but recognize that, you know, there could be something going on behind the scenes that we have no idea is coming.